Hmm.
Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Our today's topic is about the nucleic acids. Nucleic acids was discovered by the scientist Michel and he coined the term nuclein for them. The nucleic acids are composed of repeating units of nucleotides. So we can say that the monomer for nucleic acids are your nucleotide and different nucleotides combine with each other to form the polymeric unit which is known as the nucleic acids. And each nucleotide is further composed of three components, that is the nitrogenous base, pentose sugar and the phosphate group. The nitrogenous base can be of two types. It can be either purine or pyrimidine. Purines are basically the double ring structure and it comprises of adenine and guanine. Pyrimides are the single ring structure which comprises of the cytosine, thymine and uracil. Now coming about the numbering of these purines and pyrimidine, the purines which are your double ring structure, in the first ring the numbering will be in anti-clockwise direction, whereas in the second ring numbering will be in the clockwise direction, and in case of pyrimidine the numbering will be in clockwise direction, and in purines the numbering will start from this nitrogen, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As a result, the nitrogen will be present at first, third, seventh and ninth position. In case of pyrimides, numbering will start from this nitrogen and it will run in clockwise direction. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. As a result, nitrogen will be present at first and third position. That means the presence of nitrogen at first and third position is same in case of both purines and pyrimides. In addition to first and third position, nitrogen is present at seventh and ninth position in case of your double ring structure that are purines. So nitrogenous bases comprises of your purines and the pyrimides. Now the second component is the pentose sugar. It is a 5 carbon ring sugar molecule which is known as the pentose sugar. So this pentose sugar differentiate your nucleic acids into two categories, that is DNA and RNA. The presence of ribose sugar results in the formation of RNA, that is ribonucleic acid, and the presence of deoxyribose sugar result in the formation of your DNA, that is the deoxyribonucleic acid. So if you study the structure of the pentose sugar, this is the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon and fifth carbon. So at this particular second position, if oxygen is present resulting in the formation of OH group, then it is your ribose sugar. But if oxygen is removed from this particular second position, it results in the formation of your deoxyribose. So in case of your DNA, this deoxyribose will be present, and in case of RNA, your ribose sugar will be present. Okay, so this completes our two components of the nucleotide. The third component is the phosphate group. Now you might be confused with the two terms, that is nucleotide and a nucleoside. In case of nucleoside, this phosphate group is missing. Okay, so main difference between nucleotide and nucleoside is either the presence or absence of this phosphate group. If this phosphate group is present, then it is nucleotide. If this phosphate group is absent, then it results in the formation of a nucleoside, that is SIDE, nucleoside. So as we are talking here about the nucleotide, so nucleotide comprises of the nitrogenous base, pentose sugar and phosphate group. All these three things comprise your single nucleotide, and now these different nucleotides will combine with each other to form the polymeric unit, that is your nucleic acids. Now after this basic structure of nucleotides, we will study about the basic structure of your DNA molecule. The double helical structure of DNA was proposed by two scientists, Watson and Crick. However, they analyzed the result from the work of two previous scientists, that is Irving Chergaff gave your Chergaff rule, and X-ray diffraction studies was performed by Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins. So Watson and Crick analyzed the results from these two experiments and they proposed the double helical structure of DNA. According to the Chergaff's rule, the concentration of thymine is always equal to the concentration of adenine. The concentration of cytosine is always equal to the concentration of guanine, and the concentration of purines is always equal to the concentration of pyrimidine. Finally, the ratio of A plus T by G plus C will remain same in a particular species. That is, if we move from one species to another, this particular ratio will get changed. But within a particular species, this A by T plus G by C ratio will remain constant for a single type of species, or you can say it will remain constant for a single species. So on the basis of these Chargaff's rule and the X-ray diffraction studies, in case of X-ray diffraction studies, they pass the X-rays through the pure molecule. As a result, whatever pattern they got on the X-ray sensitive film, they studied that particular diffraction pattern, and they further analyzed the Chargaff's rule. On the basis of these results, they proposed the double helical structure of DNA. And the double helical structure of DNA, which was proposed by Watson and Crick, it said that DNA, the two chains of DNA run in an anti-parallel direction. For example, I have tried to represent it by using two different colors. For example, here first chain runs from 5' to 3' direction, and the second chain runs from the 3' to 5' direction. That means both the chains run in an anti-parallel direction. And DNA in case of double helical structure of DNA, you will notice two groups. One will be the major group and one will be the minor group. So this refers to the minor group, and this position refers to the major group. So one turn is considered between either from one minor group to other minor group, or from one major group to other major group. Okay, so it will give you one turn. So the total distance between one turn is 3.4 nm, and if we consider the total distance between two different nucleotides or adjacent nucleotide molecules, it will come about 3.4 divided by 10, because 10 base pairs are present in one turn, result in the formation or distance of 0.34 nm between two adjacent nucleotide molecules. And the whatever structure which was proposed by Watson and Crick, it is basically the B form of DNA, and this table shows different alternative forms of your DNA. DNA can be of these types: A form of DNA, B form of DNA, and Z form of DNA. In case of A form of DNA, the direction of helix is right-handed. In case of B DNA also it is right-handed, whereas in case of Z form of DNA, the helix direction is your left-handed. And the bases per turn, for example, the number of bases between one turn is 11 in case of 10 A form of DNA, 10 in case of B form of DNA, and 12 in case of your Z form of DNA. Okay, so the main structure of DNA which was proposed by Watson and Crick, it is the B form of DNA. That means it is direction of helix is right-handed, and number of bases present between one turn is 10 base pair. Okay, so 10 base pairs are present between one turn in case of B form of DNA, which is the most common form of DNA which is present in the physiological conditions. So I have drawn these two structures just to simplify this double helical structure. For example, this particular position is showing one strand, this is showing second strand. Okay, and these two strands are running in an anti-parallel direction on the basis of complementarity with the corresponding base. For example, this S refers to the pentose sugar, this is the phosphate group, and this is the nitrogenous base. So this particular thing, this complete thing, it makes one nucleotide, and this nucleotide is attached to the next nucleotide with the help of phosphodiester bond. In this way, different nucleotides are running in a single strand attached to the complementary strand with the help of hydrogen bond between the nitrogenous bases. Okay. Similarly, in other strand, this is the pentose sugar, this is the phosphate group, and this is the nitrogenous base. And these two nitrogenous bases between these two strands are attached with each other with the help of the hydrogen bond. And in case of A and T, two bonds are present, whereas in case of C and G, in between C and G, your triple bond will be present. And this is the further simplification of this structure. For example, this phosphate group, this is the phosphate group, that is P. This is the phosphate group. It is attached to this particular position of the pentose sugar, and this particular position corresponds to the nitrogenous base, that is A. Okay, and this nitrogenous base is attached with the help of hydrogen bond to the nitrogenous base of the opposite strand. Okay, so now different type of bonds which are present within a DNA molecule. First one is your phosphodiester bond. This is this bond which attaches one nucleotide with the other nucleotide, that is the phosphodiester bond, and it results at this presence of OH. Presence of OH over here results in the attachment of the next incoming nucleotide. Okay, so in this way this chain runs with the help of the phosphodiester bond. So bond present over here is the phosphodiester bond. This one is your hydrogen bond, and the bond between pentose sugar and the nitrogenous base, that is this particular bond. This is your glycosidic. Okay, so this covers our basic information about the nucleic acids, that is their composition, their monomeric unit, that is nucleotide, and nucleotide itself is composed of the nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and the phosphate group. We studied about the basic structure of DNA. The basic structure of DNA was the double helical structure of DNA, which was proposed by Watson and Crick and the results were based on Cherkass's rule and the X-ray diffraction study. And this was the double helical structure which was proposed by Watson and Crick. It is the B form of DNA having 10 nucleotides or 10 base pair per turn. And this was the basic structure, that how these two strands are attached with each other or run in an anti-parallel direction with the help of this hydrogen bonds. So this completes our basic information about the nucleic acids.